the soul. Start your morning at Tudor's Biscuit World with our super breakfast. Or dig into the Big Tater. Crispy potatoes topped with eggs and bacon, then crowned with savory gravy. And don't forget the classic, gravy over a biscuit. Welcome to Biscuit Country, where at Tudor's, you're always home.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence, and the great outdoors is coming inside. Join me at the 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Pan Am this weekend at Milan Park in Morgantown. More than 100,000 square feet of fishing gear and hunting supplies, outfitters and charter boats, ATVs, campers and tractors, guns, knives, and much more, all under one roof. An outdoorsman's paradise. The West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show this Saturday and Sunday in Morgantown. Doors open both days at 9 a.m.
The first 8 spots in the girls high school basketball state tournament will be awarded tonight with the regional final games in Class AAA. Last year's Class Quad A state champion Spring Valley will face St. Albans in one of the 2 Region 4 contests. Elsewhere, John Marshall faces Fairmont Senior. East Fairmont hosts Grafton. Kaiser hosts Elkins. Hampshire visits Lewis County. Nicholas County travels to Greenbrier East. Princeton hosts Capital, and Winfield will visit Nitro. Check out all the scores at the website. For Metro News Sports, good afternoon. I'm Joe Burkott.
ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Tuesday, March 3rd. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line is open. It's brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. It's begun. Spring camp has begun for the Thundering Herd. We're going to hear from Mike Green in just a few minutes, so we're going to get his thoughts on coming back to Marshall University. And kind of connected to that, if you haven't seen the news already, Ralph Street is joining the Browns. He's going to be an assistant defensive line coach. Of course, spending the last 5 seasons as the defensive line coach and run game coordinator at Marshall University. Of course, he did coach defensive end Mike Green, who was the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, who led the FBS in 17 sacks, 22.5 tackles for loss, sack yardage. He had a whole bunch of other categories, and of course, he was drafted in the second round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Of course, he's spent a lot of time coaching at the collegiate level, and he's going to be going to the Cleveland Browns. Of course, I'm not a Browns fan. You all know that. But we wish him congratulations for his job now with the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, football has begun its preparations in the spring. We've got basketball just a few days away in Pensacola. The Thundering Herd getting set for its start in the tournament. And of course, the women are going to start on March 6th. That's going to be a 12:15 p.m. airtime. For those of you that can't watch, we're going to have you covered right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And of course, if the women advance, they'll play on Saturday, 12:45 airtime. On Sunday, if the Herd advances, it'll be a 12:15 airtime. And then on Monday, if the Herd advances to the championship game, going to be a 1:45 p.m. airtime. And, of course, the men on the flip side will be a Sunday-Monday scheduled event. Monday, of course, will be the championship game. That's going to be a 6 o'clock airtime if the Herd gets to the championship. On Sunday, it's going to be a little bit later. It's going to be a 7:30 p.m. airtime. Of course, 2 games. You'll play whatever time they tell you if you've got to just win 2 games to get to the championship, which is the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's it. That's all you have to do. I love this bracket. I don't think I've stressed that enough. I love this bracket. It could be demanding, though. I mean, if Marshall was like 6th or 7th seeded right now, would I love this bracket as much? Maybe, maybe not. But we've seen the women win 4 straight before. Hopefully the women can do it again, and maybe the men can win 2 straight and win the tournament. But we're going to focus on football in just a few minutes. Of course, basketball coming up a little bit later on this week. And, of course, you heard yesterday Wyatt Fricks and Jalen Spear named to the 25-26 All Sunbelt Conference first and second teams, respectively. And then Tamaya Lewis-Utsi, TT, was named to the 2026 Sunbelt Conference Newcomer of the Year and All Sunbelt Conference first team, All Sunbelt defensive team as well. So some good stuff happening in the postseason accolades for the Thundering Herd. TT definitely deserves everything that she is getting. There's a few other things I want to get into later on. The Cincinnati Bengals have decided not to stick with Trey Hendrickson, so they're putting no franchise tag on him. Nothing. That's it. And so he's going to be able to enter free agency, and the legal tampering period begins on Monday, March 9th. So he's going to be a free agent. He's already put out a statement, thanking everyone for his time in Cincinnati. Is this the right decision for the Bengals? Possibility. I don't think the two sides were ever going to come together anyway, so this probably is the best. And we knew that he wouldn't fetch any suitors because you just wait till the end of the season. If you really want him, why give up a lot of assets for him? So he wasn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Had to wait to get to this point. So hopefully the Bengals can start making some better decisions with personnel, current and future. And let's see if the Bengals can maybe draft a little bit better. I think all eyes are on the Bengals franchise this year if you're in Cincinnati, because it just hasn't gone the way. You're wasting generational talent. You're wasting Joe Burrow. I mean, he's a generational talent. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you're wasting one of the most potent groupings on the offensive side of the ball the NFL seen in a long time. Just wasting. You got to get some help for them. You got to get some defensive help as well. You got to get a little bit of everything, to be quite honest. So this is definitely a work in progress, right, for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think you can win if you do it right. We've seen other teams manage rosters with high-paid quarterbacks and high-paid weapons, and at the same time still do really good as roster management. That's just been a weakness for the Cincinnati Bengals. But we've got basketball to talk about later, but we will talk football with you when we continue, because we're going to hear a little bit from Mike Green. He was at Marshall today speaking with the team, speaking with the media, and we'll get his thoughts on coming back. And we're going to hear from you. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. A couple other things I want to get into just to kind of get you ready for it. The West Virginia transfer portal, best way to describe it. The House of Delegates has passed a bill which will repeal the state code that created what has been in effect a transfer portal in high school athletics. Now, still got to see what the Senate wants to do, but this is reversing a state law that passed in 2023 that required the WVSSAC to allow students a one-time transfer. Now, the WVSSAC still has some logistics to do on its own. It's going to have to revise its policy, and it's been a policy that, unfortunately, a lot of programs have been decimated by. Ultimately, it's what's in the best interest of the student athlete, right? What's in the best interest of the student athlete? What's in the best interest of the community? What's in the best interest of the game? On one hand, programs are struggling now because players, I don't like it here. We're not winners. I don't like it here. I'm out. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go somewhere else. Sure. This isn't exactly my home, but I'm going to go over here and play. I'm going to transfer over. And then on the flip side, what's best for the student athlete? Will a student athlete be able to possibly thrive elsewhere? Maybe get a scholarship, maybe go to college, go to a really good college, get a good education, find an opportunity there that that student athlete normally wouldn't get because it's struggling here. There's so many arguments. I have some thoughts on that. We'll talk about it. And of course, we'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I don't buy the argument. I'm just gonna preview it now. I don't buy the argument that talented players cannot find a spot in college. If you're talented, they'll find you. Just because you're on a team that's maybe a small high school, what's the end goal here? And of course, should we care that athletic programs are suffering, can't maybe fill rosters because all the eligible student athletes that would have been available to that school are gone because of the transfer portal? I mean, do we really care? I mean, is that our problem? I mean, we're getting some good kids coming here. Is our problem that you can't keep those kids? We're going to take them. They're good here. I mean, why is that our problem? I mean, what do you think? Think this is going to maybe start to righten the ship a little bit as far as where high school athletics are going? 304-396-TALK. That's our number to be a part of today's show. We're going to hear from Mike Green when we continue on this edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Update your living spaces with new flooring. Mohawk laminate floors are durable and easy to install, making them perfect for active households. Enjoy the look and feel of wood flooring with Mohawk Inspirations waterproof laminate flooring on sale now through March 8th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text? Online loan payments? Even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Cold weather's on its way, and what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? Miller Lite, Coors Light, Modelo, 84 Lumber, Dutch Miller Auto Group, Huntington Drum, Wilson Welding, Fitness World, Pritchard Lawn Care, and Pam's. Present the 38th Annual Tough Man Contest, coming this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. to the Cam Henderson Center at Marshall University. It's Tough Man this Friday and Saturday at the Cam Henderson Center. Tickets at WVToughman.com or at the Marshall box office.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults have unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of Your Drive. I'm your host, Paul Swann, with our text line open at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from Mike Green in just a few minutes. He was at Marshall today. It's the start of spring camp. Of course, the Thundering Herd getting set for the season, losing Ralph Street as a defensive line coach. Now, the assistant defensive line coach with the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, Street had a big hand in Mike Green's career while at Marshall. And so I think he's moving to the Browns is a good thing for him. He's going to be able to do some things there. And you know what? The Browns might actually be really good with Coach Street there. I mean, I don't want him to be too good. No offense, Coach. I don't want to be too good, though. As, of course, I root against all the teams in the division other than the Bengals. A lot of changes, though, with every team in the division other than Cincinnati. So we'll see what it looks like come opening day for football. But that's a few months away. Mike Green was able to talk a little bit about his experiences at Marshall earlier today with the kids that are maybe for the first time on campus or the first time actually, getting acclimated to Marshall football, going through the process. Again, it's spring training, get ready for the upcoming season. And so Mike Green was gracious enough to speak to members of the media for a few minutes. I want to say thanks to Tyler Kennett over at HD Media. Tyler's been taking good care of me for those times that I'm not able to be there, so I just want to make sure that I acknowledge Tyler. He does great work for HD Media, so if you're not reading his coverage in the Herald-Dispatch or any of the other HD Media publications, you're doing yourself a disservice. He does a fantastic job. But earlier today, Mike Green speaking with the media as the Thundering Herd getting set for the upcoming season. It starts with day one, and Mike talked a little bit about coming back to Marshall and, of course, his time with the Thundering Herd.
Mike, just kind of sum up what was your first year in the league. You made an impression. Just your thoughts on how it went.
Yeah, I think it went great. Being a rookie, having a lot of playing time, having big shoes to fill, of course, was a little bit challenging, but I think as a whole that everything went smooth, had a good season, and just ready for the next season.
What was the hardest thing to adapt to? Just the speed of the game? And just kind of sum it up for us?
Yeah, I think the room for error is very, very, very more constricted, of course. Since everybody's moving so fast and everybody's huge, there's not a lot of room for error. And, you got to have that next play mentality. But, there's plays out there that you wish you can get back, and they go by just like that. I think that just resembles how fast the game is and how little room for error you have.
What kind of message do you have for the guys today? I know you'll talk to them, and it's going to impress a lot of them that you're back so quickly, and with the message you can get there too, right?
Yeah. Today I really wanted to focus more so on giving them information about how my first year went personally. I think that was more beneficial rather than just telling them things like you should do this and you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think they took more from it, especially since today is their first day at practice. So you got guys that can be more motivated once they see the bigger picture and what they can get to and what it takes to get there. So that was more so of the message, and it went great today. A lot of guys asked questions, and so it went great.
How important is it for you to come back, and give back to this place and all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's very important. There's a lot of guys I know that's on this team that, that this is the only place they can go to, and, not very recruited highly in high school or financial situations or so forth. For me personally, it means a lot to come back. And, my time here, there wasn't really a lot of guys that played here that would come back. So I told myself that was one thing that I was going to do after I graduated was I was going to come back and I was going to make sure I share my knowledge. And because there's things that I wish I knew coming out of college that would have helped me and would have prepared me a little bit more for the league. So that was like the main goal, was just to come back and make sure that I give them all the information that I learned on my way.
Last year, Coach talked a little bit about how you kind of stuck around and got to meet him, everything. You talk about your impressions of him and just the job he's doing so far and what you like about him and all that.
Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. So, he's been doing a great job. I talked to a lot of guys here, actually, and, he's a great dude. He's a great coach. And I think a lot of guys are a little ease from him being the head coach. He's easy to get along with, easy to work with, and it's just a lot of great things that I done heard about him. I could talk about it forever, but my personal experience with him it has been great. I went up there and talked to him the first day he got here, and I was on my way out, and I made sure that I went in there and I talked to him and just gave him the information that I needed, that I wanted and needed to give him, and he took it and he applied it, and he wasn't too stubborn or too stern for new information. So and when you have a new coach like that, that's very important. So that's something that stuck out to me, and yeah.
Mike, when you look at today's climate with the portal and NIL, how important is it to have a player's coach for not just your level but this level too?
Yeah, so you gotta make sure that you are bonding with your players, and being a player's coach, I feel like it's very vital that you have that connection with the players. So not only do they trust you, but they know that you're going to get things done that you said that you're going to do. And being a player's coach goes a long way with like the whole business aspect of things and like the organization and how things should be structured in the team and things like that. And I feel like one thing that is very vital from my personal experience having a player's coach is that they listen to you. Like they're not too stubborn for new information. Like they take things that you say and they apply it. They don't think that they're the know-it-alls and everything that they say goes. They're open to new things, and I think that's very important because ultimately, like, the players are out here playing, not the coach. So I feel like that's very important, and just having a players coach, you have all those things, and that ended up helping the team out. So yeah.
What was that feeling like when you walked out of the tunnel and back onto the field to watch their practice? I know that memories have to kind of hit back. Is there any memory that sticks out, or what's that feeling like?
I mean, so my last year here, the captains all walked out first before the whole team comes out, and everybody's chanting, everybody's going crazy, and just walking down with the other three guys, like. That's like the feelings you can't even really describe it, honestly, and it wasn't just a feeling that you get for certain games. Like, it was every single home game. It was something special about walking out that tunnel and down the sideline, and running out to Thunderstruck, man. Like, I'm just thinking about it now. Like, it was crazy. I feel like it was just yesterday, but like this is home for me, and so it always has sentimental value for me, and that's just it, yeah.
When you look back at this time last year, you were going through the pre-draft process and getting ready for pro day. I think your pro day was a week and a half maybe out. What, like, is it crazy how quick it's all gone over the last year? And what do you remember most about that process, and talk about your growth to this point as well?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, like, it flew by so fast. And I remember my head coach, John Harbaugh, he said something that kind of stuck to me, and it was, the days are long, but the years are short. And every day feels so long, but when you look back on things, it's like, yo, it flew by just like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's very much easier said than done to say that, you know, make sure you cherish your moments. But I feel like that's something that has been sticking with me throughout this process, is making sure that you cherish each moment and you cherish each opportunity, because things do fly by just like that, and it did. And can you repeat the last question?
Just how do you feel like you've made the biggest growth from that pre-draft process to your game now?
Yeah. I think the biggest growth is simply, you know, like putting that rookie year under your belt. Like I said, I mentioned to the team that the rookie year is the longest year of your life. You know, you got the combine, you got the Senior Bowl, you got OTAs, you got rookie mini camp, you got training camp, you got the draft, you got preseason games, and you got a 17 regular season game season. So it's the longest year of your life. So I think now I have that rookie year under my belt, and I have the experience from being in the league for a year, and so yeah.
If I ask you one more, as part of today's message, almost talking back about how this community supports people. I know a lot of people out here became Ravens fans, whether it be you or Rasheen or anybody else. I'm sure you probably still see a lot of folks, maybe familiar faces and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So your question is
just how has the community kind of lifted you in that process, whether it be here or anywhere else?
Yeah. I would say the history of Marshall is what helps out the fan base and the team's connection. You know what I'm saying? So it's things that are a lot more important to this community than just winning and losing. And there's a lot of things that this team thinks means. There's a lot more things that this team cherishes more than winning and losing. And I think when you have a fan base and a team that shares such a connection, that you look over a lot of other things. So I think that, you know, just having that connection with the community and, you know, all the fans that are around is very important to me, of course, because like these are the people that have been with you since day one and has been supporting you and has been coming to these games, rooting for you this whole time. And that's why I feel like it's just very important that I made sure that I came back here and I share everything that I've learned on my way. So hopefully, like when any one of these guys graduate, they can do the same thing. So yeah.
Some interesting thoughts from Mike Green. Now it's time for you. Our text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At home or at work, in the car or at the gym, there's nothing more convenient than the fast service and the quality products brought to you by Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee. If you're always on the go with family, friends, coworkers, and business associates, give Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee a chance. They have everything that you need, from filtration coolers, coffee for your work, at-home delivery, and 8-ounce, 10-ounce, and half-liter bottles, or by the pallet. Tyler Mountain Water and Coffee, where great taste just comes naturally. Visit us at TylerMountainWater.com.
Kindred Communications is proud to welcome WSAZ to our family of stations. When you listen to your favorite Kindred station, you'll hear the trusted voices from WSAZ you know, with the WSAZ First Alert, forecast, and the latest news. WSAZ and Kindred Communications, working together for the Tri-State.
Fresh flavors are on the new menu at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, with brand new bowls loaded with big flavor and lighter options. Try the Honey Harissa Chicken Bowl with mixed greens, roasted corn, avocado with whipped jalapeno feta, or the Euro Chicken Bowl with tzatziki, red pepper hummus, and classic Mediterranean flavors. Seafood fans will love the Sesame Glazed Salmon Bowl with Brussels sprouts and citrus ginger dressing. Fresh ingredients, big flavor, fresh bowls at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this Tuesday edition. I'm your host, Paul Swann. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We alluded to a busy schedule this week. Of course, Marshall basketball taking the spotlight starting on Friday with the women starting their tournament run at 12:15 p.m. We go on the air with the voice of the herd, Steve Cotton, for all the women's tournament action. And then on Sunday, March 8th, the men will begin its run, hopefully 2-game win streak, and you get into the NCAA tournament. But there's baseball action throughout the week, and it started today. The Herds right now in Blacksburg are taking on Virginia Tech, and it's top of the 4th, and Marshall leads Virginia Tech 6-3. So we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, a pop-up game tomorrow at Jack Cook Field. The Thundering Herd playing host to West Virginia. So that's going to begin at 5 o'clock. So if you're going to the game, don't forget to take your radios. You can listen to the show while you're at the game right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. But it's going to be pretty busy. There are a lot of events happening as well. We've got women's tennis at Columbia. That's going to be on Friday. Softball taking on Akron and Canisius. So a lot of softball action at the Dot. Baseball is going to be taking on St. Bonaventure on Friday as well. And you got spring soccer beginning. The men's team taking on Rio Grande. That's going to be a 7:15 first kick, first drop of the ball. Saturday, of course, we're going to be focusing definitely on the Herd, but you've got women's soccer as well taking on Glenville State at 3 p.m. Softball is going to be in action taking on Howard. Baseball, and we're going to have that game. Here's the thing. Marshall in action on Saturday. It's going to be at 12:45 p.m. airtime if the Herd advances with a 1 o'clock tip, and I think we're going to be able to get that game on time. Whatever the case may be, stick around. We've got you covered. We'll have the women's game, and then we'll go right into baseball if we go a little over. So we'll have that for you as the Herd taking on St. Bonaventure. That's our Saturday showcase game. And, of course, Sunday, baseball as well, softball, and, of course, hopefully more basketball. This time the men will get things started on the 8th, but hopefully the women are still alive. Again, 4 games in 4 days. The Marshall women have done that before, and I think they can do it again. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 is our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We got some interesting texts yesterday. I don't want to belabor the point, but I think a lot of fans are still a little disappointed after what happened over the weekend, especially Friday, with the Thundering Herd, both the men and women losing to Georgia Southern. So felt like yesterday some people are still a little disillusioned, disenchanted with this Thundering Herd team. Are we at that point now where, okay, that's behind everybody? Marshall's got a few days, get rested, get right. Maybe have enough to make a 2-game run. Because really, that's all Marshall has to do, a 2-game run. And we still don't know what the opponent will look like yet because of the fact the way this tournament is situated and structured. Got to wait several days before anything really becomes solid. And I'll be honest with you. In a way, I kind of like it. In a way, you can't truly prepare. It's not easy to prepare for an opponent. You're going to have to wait. So the good thing is, I think Coach Jackson said that yesterday, you've seen pretty much everyone in the league now. You don't have to worry about what a team is about. You don't have to try to figure out what's going to happen because of the fact that you already know. You've seen these teams before. You've seen all of these teams, and of course, Sun Belt tournament for the women has begun, and App State with the victory earlier today over South Alabama. I'm sorry, South Alabama with the victory over App State. My apologies. 68-57, and Louisiana with the victory over Georgia State, 71-66. So, basketball is underway on the women's side, and for the men, that's going to start later on this evening as far as the brackets are concerned. So, we'll keep an eye on everything, and of course, we're going to be with you the rest of the week. Hopefully in a couple days, we'll have a better idea at least. I know for sure with the men, we're going to have to wait a few days, a little bit more, because Marshall plays on Sunday. So we got to figure out we won't know until Saturday night. Saturday night, we won't know. So it could be Coastal Carolina. It could be South Alabama. And I'm looking at this right now. The only thing I'm willing to put on the record is that I don't believe it'll be ULM or Old Dominion. Georgia Southern could make a run. Arkansas State could make a run. South Alabama. I think the way this thing is set up, it's pretty diabolical. Georgia Southern could get past Arkansas State, but does it get past South Alabama? Arkansas State could win and maybe get past South Alabama, but does it get past Coastal Carolina? South Alabama could win and then get past Coastal, and then it'll be Marshall and South Alabama. And I'm not sure that this is the way you should think. Marshall should be ready to go against anyone, but I don't want it to be Coastal. I don't like the matchup. On the flip side, you've been swept by Coastal. Think of it as, okay, this team has swept us, and because we didn't perform well against Coastal, we might have cost ourselves with Coastal alone, we probably cost ourselves the championship in the regular season. So now let's not make that mistake again. That could be the mindset, or it's just, hey, it's just a one-game run. Go 1-0. Texture says, Paul, I'm headed to Pensacola now. No negativity right now until it's all said and done. We've had disappointing moments for sure this year, but it's a new season. Enjoy the moment and believe in who we have with us right now. Go Herd. Be safe heading to Pensacola. You driving, flying, taking a flight down, or you heading to the airport, or you driving down? Either way, be safe. And everyone is heading down to Pensacola for the next few days. Be safe as you travel. And, of course, if you're heading down, don't forget you can stream the show. We do it live on our app. You can get that on the App Store, or the best place to do it is head over to our website, wrvc.com. We've got the link that will take you to either the Android store or for your iPhone, whatever device you have, we've got you covered. Just head over to our website, and we'll get you to. Texter says they're driving. Hey, be safe. Be careful. Be safe down there. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 is our number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything, and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, the exclusive provider of sports medicine services to Marshall University Athletics, is pleased to offer walk-in clinics 6 days a week. Full-service appointments are available on a walk-in basis weekdays from 9 until 3. And a screening clinic is conducted Saturday mornings 8 to 10. No appointment necessary. For more information, call 304-691-1880. The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, taking care of the herd, taking care of you.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Welcome back to the Dog Show. Up next, we have Satchmo. Satchmo is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right, a group known especially for their couch-snuggling, ball-chasing, face-licking, tail-wagging, backyard-hanging, and, of course, companionship.
And what breed would you say Satchmo is?
I'd have to go with maybe a lavish terrier-hound chihuahua-looking kind of mix.
Tremendous dog.
I'd also like to point out Satchmo's coloring, a white, gray, brown, black brindle, simply marvelous.
You know, it's such a treat to watch a dog like this.
Now, let's see him in action.
Look how he makes eye contact with his person.
That's actually known as the treat stare.
How intuitive. And now he appears to be excitedly turning in circles.
Ah, the happy dance, so common with this group.
And finally, the loving face lick.
It's great how he just gets in there and, well, licks.
Fantastic. But really, the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Satchmo is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Josh Groban. After so many years on the stage, one of my favorite things about music is its ability to inspire and nourish the soul. That's why I'm proud to work with Feeding America, an organization that inspires hope for families in need and helps nourish the 16 million kids in this country struggling with hunger. Every year, billions of pounds of excess food go to waste, while 1 in 5 children may be left not knowing where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Thankfully, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food and helps deliver it to kids in need across the country. But they can't do it alone. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're wrapping up today's edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is open. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got a basketball update. The Thundering Herd taking on Virginia Tech. We're in the top of the fifth, and the Thundering Herd has pushed the lead out to a 7-3 advantage now. And again, Herd top of the fifth, 7-3 advantage over Virginia Tech. Herd back in action tomorrow at the Jack, taking on West Virginia, and that's going to be a 5 o'clock scheduled first pitch. Don't forget, we're going to have baseball action for you on Saturday. The Herd taking on St. Bonaventure, and that is coming up. That's going to be a 3:50 airtime or immediately following the Marshall women in action. Tournament begins for the Thundering Herd at 12:30 on Saturday if it advances on Friday. So we're looking at a possibility here that Marshall goes on a 4-game run for the women. And so we'll find out Friday if it advances to Saturday. And if that's the case, and that's what we're hoping for, we're going to have a triple header. We're going to have Marshall basketball, baseball, and then we're going to have Marshall basketball again. So we're going to be loaded up on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, hopefully, with the Thundering Herd. And you can hear it all right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So a couple interesting things have happened today. I want to start with the Kentucky news that came out. So Kentucky announces that Mitch Barnhart's going to retire as the athletic director. And he's going to move into this new role. It's what is being described as, it's called an executive in residence for UK Sport and Workforce Initiative, which is a newly created position. It's high level. It's an advisory leadership role at the University of Kentucky. And he's going to be making $950,000 a year through August 31st, 2030. We're finding out details and increments right now, but of course Barnhart's pretty experienced, and he's going to be moving into a different role now. But there's this university workforce development effort that is being put together. And are we going to see more athletic departments have this executive? Will athletic departments be run like professional organizations, if not already? Is that eventually going to be what the better athletic departments do, is just transition into this situation where, you have your general manager, you have your chief operating officer, you have an advisory panel. Are the days of the athletic director and then the president, are those days gone, or is this going to be a complementary position to the athletic director? This is going to be someone that can advise the athletic director, guide the athletic director, be a resource for the athletic director, or will this be a role that it's overseeing the athletic director? Now, I don't think that's going to be the case at Marshall University. You have Gerald Harrison, who's put together his staff, and of course he works very closely with Brad Smith. Of course, he has a position inside of Brad's inner circle. He basically is vice president level at the university. So he's not an associate. He's not outside looking in. He's right there. So the day-to-day happenings, Marshall University, he's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening with the university because he's part of it. So I don't know if these positions are complementary or not. And again, this is a new position. We don't know all the details just yet, but obviously you want to lean on some new blood coming in. At the same time, you don't want to lose that institutional knowledge. Remember when that came up a few years ago when you transitioned from Mike Hamrick, who had a lot of institutional knowledge, over to Christian Spears, and the thought was, okay, I value this. This is what we need to keep, institutional knowledge. So the positions like this maybe help with that, at the same time opening up avenues for, let's be honest, you're going to have some fresh ideas and some innovation out here in this new landscape. And I'm really getting tired of calling it a new landscape because it keeps changing daily. Let's go back to the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, it was a disappointing loss this past Friday, but it's time to move on. Second place in the conference isn't bad. No one would have predicted that. No, the coaches sure didn't. So that's good. The Thundering Herd, I mean, I'll take it. Marshall would have been second place no matter what. The regular season crown is great, and I want to see Marshall win that every year. The regular season title is an achievement. Chris Grassi values in soccer the regular season crown, but if you want to get into the NCAA and you're in a league like the Sun Belt, you got to win the tournament. So that's the trophy you're looking for. You finish tied for the conference championship in the regular season, you're still the 2 seed. This way, you get the tiebreakers and you're the 2 seed. You play Sunday, Monday. Texter says, Paul, I don't have any stats, but if I remember correctly, Marshall historically hasn't been very good coming off from a long rest in basketball or football. I'm just worried about the rust starting slow in the first half and inconsistency with the basketball team. Yeah, I don't have that data either. Can you believe the data, though? Every team's new. I mean, if this was a situation where every year you just had a couple of new components and the core was the same. I mean, with basketball over the last few years, especially with football, the teams have been new almost every year. And I don't know if year to year that's going to hold. The one thing that's constant right now is Cornelius Jackson and his leadership taking over from Dan D'Antoni and his leadership. And while you have the continuity, I think at the same time, Coach Jackson is a little bit more, I think he's fluid when it comes to, okay, I'm going to have to make an adjustment here. I think he's, and I'm not saying Dan wasn't, but I think that Corny's open to, all right, I'm not going to be just stuck on, okay, the system works here, the Danalytics. I'm going to have to make some adjustments here. I'm going to have to try to do some different things and make adjustments instead of, okay, this works, why aren't you doing that? And I'm not trying to say Dan was that rigid. It's just, Coach now has at least, he has some good players. He can make some adjustments if he gets his big back. Matt Van Komen, which I don't think that's going to happen, but if he would have got his big back, I mean, Marshall probably would have won the conference in the regular season. But you're right about one thing. You've got the inconsistency that's hurt this team, and will the rest actually help this team? Because you can go all out. If you're in a tournament like this, do you have to pace yourself? If you're starting pretty far back, you have to pace yourself, or can you go all out and then try to redo it again the next day? I think with the Herd, in this situation, if you don't come out on fire, all out, because you've got 2 games, it's do or die, cliche as that may sound. It's win or go home. It's single elimination. In it to win it. Everything. Cliche. And if I miss one, please let me know. But I think with 2 games, it's going to be imperative. Now, on the flip side, you get a team that kind of gotten into a rhythm here. What's Marshall's rhythm going to look like? So it's going to be imperative that the Thundering Herd uses the time off to try to stay in rhythm as best it can. Don't forget, we'll have those games for you all weekend long. As far as the Herd advances, as far as we will go with them. That's going to do it for this edition. Back with you tomorrow. Don't forget, you can find the show anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.